Welcome to the Holistic Goth channel, where we're all too aware our personal ecosystem can dictate our every thought, action, and life course when not maintained naturally in a balanced way. We need to be outside, have physical activity, sunlight. We need our probiotics, fermented, organic foods, feng shui, astrological alignment information, updates. There's so many things that we can do to have a very natural, healthy, successful life that's uniquely tailored to our own interests and aptitudes.
Yum! I can taste the great stuff already. Check out the melons. I've got lots more awesome stuff in the back. I just love running errands downtown. It just feels really fun to me every time I go out. You see that scaffolding in the middle? What a cool job to go repair an old cathedral. I'm still figuring out the best places to park when I go downtown. I've become a lot more sure-footed, but it's still frankly a gamble. What's to be said of body modifications? Well, they're like exes. Messy, juvenile, a result of inexperience. Outdated, painful, unhealthy. You loved them madly, had fun while it lasted, you've lost your taste for them, but they're still a part of you. It's time to make way for the brightest version of yourself. That thing from the past might have been holding you back from a bit. Is anyone that didn't get body modifications better than us? No, not any more than it would be better to have never loved at all and never dated. We have evolving relationships with those around us, the world around us, and most importantly, ourselves. Why are we the most important? Because you're the one you have the most control over. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's Saturday. I'm actually great at parallel parking. I don't know why I park like shit on the curb sometimes. But anyway, yeah, so pretty safe to just eat my grapes and go enjoy a monument. I'm figuring it out. I get so happy just looking up at all the buildings. Humans can be so annoying. It's nice to marvel at what we can do. Annoying noise pollution right after I said that. We're quite ingenious in our way. And we're a part of this whole big existence. So you need to make sure your part is doing the best you can. Be a good brick in the wall, and that'll elevate everything and everyone around us. So thank you for the part you play. Here's a bit of mine. It is what it is, what it be, what it do. I am what I am, and you are you. It's such a pleasure to be of your acquaintance. What do you mean this is just a mattress on the ground? I'm going to move much sooner than later. I don't have any cares for a bed at this moment, I've realized. What I do care to talk about is physical expression and manipulation. I've delved into most things death and destruction, maybe even accidentally sold my soul to Satan in my teens. We'll find out down the line. One of my biggest things to research has always been body modifications. Back in my teens, corset piercings were very popular. You know how functional that is? The issues that caused people, the webbing of the thumb and the finger, like that was like new and all the rage and stuff. And the truth is that these are all really short-term trends, all these body modifications, surgeries, medications, anything that's foreign and unnatural to our body is something that is a trend, basically, because there's already an original model happening there. A principle that I think gets really lost is the idea of not harming healthy tissue. And I'm not talking about whether or not we're getting wasted. That's what we're keeping our tissue healthy for. But I was watching the show Botched because I do watch everything that's tattoos, piercings, extreme body modifications, and all the things for surgery. I just like to be as knowledgeable, the forefront, Moira McTaggarting,
the genetics of things and stuff. Like, I just care about biology. I'm just fascinated by it. Math is like a language of the universe, right? And then, I mean, biology is just, it's kind of art to me. I think creation is just so incredible. So these world-renowned doctors on the show Botched were saying, when this guy came in for an extreme body modification, I don't know if it was, something along the lines of giant patch of flesh gone, fingers removed, something extreme. And they were just like, you know what? Whatever they're doing in other countries, we as surgeons, medical professionals, we don't harm healthy tissue, which I think is fantastic for them. They do such great work. But separately, the truth is that surgeons harm healthy tissue all the time. I myself am such a big advocate against surgeries that are unnecessary, elective, that sort of thing, because I got a surgery in my teens that was unnecessary, didn't go right, and bothers me to this day. It doesn't need to. I can get it corrected. I know how to go about that. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And that's something else that I want to talk to you about, is if you've done anything like surgery, body modifications, anything like that, and how to correct it too. So yeah, it's an unfortunate truth that doctors and artists do harm people's body by definition. And I like when they're really real about that. One of my favorite people to watch recently for tattoos has been Kirk Fagan, who's getting quite popular. He talks very heavily about the limitations of tattooing, as well as the limitations of removal and like getting rid of it and that sort of thing. And I just really appreciate the information that he puts out there. It's just such a concept that gets lost. Any harm none, do as you will. I think, and maybe that's like my difference between like imbibements and paying someone to harm you. It's like that's your business, and when someone else is doing it, they're harming you. And I made this long-winded video, who knows what this will turn into, about tattoos and piercings and that sort of thing, and I pulled back in the complete opposite direction, was like, well, and here's how you could do it if maybe kind of gray area. And it's like, that's no way to go about things. If we've learned anything from watching Breaking Bad, it was no half measures. But I also don't need to be so aggressive about my opinion when it comes to talking to more than one person. I do prefer an intimate setting, a little one-on-one, much more than a group setting. I feel that it allows for so much more nuanced understanding of each other and that sort of thing. And I'm always looking for, like, you know, all the little details. I mean, that's a big thing for me, is just the research of everything in life. You know, everybody says that, like, we're here to learn, and it's like, well, fucking hell, I'm a good student. I'm not falling into truancy or anything like that when it comes to life. I really am putting it all in, and we'll talk about that too, what it means to be a badass, I think, and like putting that work into yourself. Part of what makes me so hardcore, of course, is the extremes that I can go to, and I'm tired of trying to find a compromise for people. I can offer compromise for people. Like, I can tailor a wellness plan for you for any degree of effort that you want to put in, anything you're willing to or not willing to do. I'm like, okay, if you want to do X, Y, Z, I've got ABC. I can give you any treatment plan to reach your maximum wellness. If you want real change, you do need to have a pretty extreme shift. If we could all just agree that makeup is aging us and requiring 20 other products besides the makeup itself, we really just don't need all these factories, or like, hey, nuclear power, we could do better. If we all were just like, we're boycotting this, we're done with it at once, let's just shut it all down, let the IV take it, and like build something new and better and like break a cycle for humanity and the planet and that kind of thing. I would much rather do the extremes. All this shit just takes forever, because it kind of like rolls this way, rolls back that way, and then people forgot that it was ever this way because all they've known was that way. It's so much better to just be like, that was incorrect. I'm very much going through that, like, shedding old belief systems and that kind of thing. I have a very big just change happening in my life right now. It's been happening like that for a while, like it's just like heavy evolutions and stuff. But it's like I've been clearing everything from here. I'm clearing everything from my mind. I'm just getting clear about where I am with everything and what I want to bring in, and making sure that I'm in the right headspace, vibration, everything to bring it in. And that's part of why I want to talk about body modifications for the feng shui of our body and what we're bringing in too. I'd rather no one give or receive a tattoo or piercing again, probably, because I think your body is just great and doesn't need or deserve any damage to it. Again, especially that isn't champagne on a tropical beachside resort. You need to like prime yourself for the good days, you know, and not just be like, oh, like everything it was a tough day, but you know it's gonna wash it down fucking letting somebody hurt me because, you know, like fuck it, like I don't get good things anyway. It's just like, what if, like, fuck you, like don't do that to your body, dude. I can't tell you how many times I did something fucked up directly after a doctor told me permanent damage will only ever get worse. Things that I reverse and am well on my way to reversing for other things. I think you can enter this cycle of hurting yourself. You know, you're at a mosh pit, you're drinking, you're getting tattoos, you're letting your psychotic significant other do absolutely vile things to you, you're letting your friends get away with murder because you're just so understanding of the scene. You're like, I get how you got there, or like, that's so crazy, I guess it's entertaining, let me learn more about this, whatever. I just feel like I've learned so much about the shittiest parts of people, and I've been running in alternative crowds for literally my entire life. It's always so crazy to me when I talk to another alternative type person and they're like, oh yeah, like, you know, I've got like these like normal type friends, like whatever, you know, we're just using stupid terms, layman's. And I'm just like, that's crazy. I've literally never had just like a normal kind of friend, you know, like I think the closest thing that I had was when I was 13 and that person's parent told them to stop talking to me, and they did. But like whatever like off-putting vibes I had to a parent when I was younger, I assure you now, like I'm the healthiest fucking influence, you know, and also fuck those people. So not only do you signify to people that you are untrustworthy, and because you don't respect your own body and taking care of it, that maybe you won't respect their stuff and their situation. Everybody needs to stop saying like, oh, the stigma about this and that, when it comes to things that are actually really practical and helpful to avoid, actually. You know, like if someone is willing to like put a cigarette out on their eyeball, do you actually want them, you know, in a tender moment with you? I'm not really sure what a high pain tolerance is. I'm very sensitive to all sensations and all the other senses that are going on, but I can calmly handle tremendous amounts of ongoing, like what would be hysterical levels of pain for somebody else. I take tattoos very well. I take piercings like it's a hot knife through butter. Like I do very well with these things, and I always really great with my aftercare. I had my piercings for a really long time, north of a decade for most of them, 17 years ongoing with some of these, and it's part of why I'm making this video. Okay, so I have one last piercing that's stuck here. I know I'm rambling and I'm all over the place. It can be fun editing. What is this called? Like a forward helix or something like that. And my conch I just took out the other day finally. So I would say if I could have done it differently for the last handful of years, well, I could have. That's a ridiculous thing to say. I never really utilize any of my looks, my piercings, my hair. I never really utilize them to the fullest, and maybe I can encourage you to. But like I'll just leave like the same jewelry in forever. I'll never ever change it out and stuff because it's like I'm fucking busy. So I would always have like, well, so anyway, like I would probably strip down like the other things that I was doing, like the fucking lip piercing that was getting at the gums and, you know, probably affecting my speech and every single facial expression that I was making at the time because of where it was hitting. God, where the fuck are you guys' lip piercings hitting? Because I had the perfect placement, it seemed. Two piercers agreed because I had it pierced twice that it was the perfect spot. I agreed. That was exactly where I wanted it, but it just like sawing every single time. So I would like be moving my lips all over the place. I have quite decent Queen's English, but like it's a jaw thing. Like I do talk like a little bit more anyway, that's just to be clear, it's like the way that I'm speaking is not like from the lip piercing necessarily. Could be a little residual from that. I'll really never know what kind of like mix is happening in there, I guess. But at this point, I'll go to my elocution lessons once I remove the rest of my piercings. And anyway, fucking I would get rid of like the navel sooner than I did. I would get rid of, because I had that for maybe 10 years, from probably 18, 19 up to like around 28 or something like that. And then, and I got my eyebrow when I was 17 and took it out around the same time, around 28. That very like fucking Saturn return. God damn it, I feel like my Saturn return was like, it returned and then it returneth again. Like in the, I think it just hit me on repeat for like those like several, like whatever years or something. Just obliteration. But so around 28, I took out like a good number of my piercings. I was like raw vegan. I just went all in peace, love, and everything, and completely didn't. I did go in that direction of now I'm a light worker kind of thing or whatever, and it was like very damaging. It was very damaging, and because I understood the darkness and I was a part of it, and it's like, okay, cool, let me just switch gears. It was kind of my thought, but everyone around me didn't get the memo, and everyone around me was still a piece of shit, and so like I was just like being really sweet while everyone was being. So anyway, so like you'll have these periods where you're just kind of like, oh, I'm done with that body, like whatever and stuff, and then sometimes I'll see people put them back in, and I totally fucking get the temptation because the hole's still sitting there, and you're just like, I don't know, like I've got some cute, clean looking jewelry, maybe I'll put my going out studs in or whatever, you know, and like you know, I've had cute jewelry for different pieces at different times that like I loved like an opal, like a white opal lip piercing, and then do like little like white opal little spikes up here or something on either, because I had my forward helix on either side. But yeah, like I said, if I could, I would have left the forward helixes and just the bottom here. I think that's a really sweet, complementary, you know, just symmetrical, just lovely kind of thing. And these took the absolute award for most out of the way piercing, and probably helps me tuck my hair back a little bit better. But that being said, this is smoother. You can say all day long, my piercings are just a part of me. No, the fuck they're not, because go massage that spot and there's like a fucking piece of metal right there. So, yeah, so for me, and this is always like the little like practical jokester side of the universe, right? When you're like, all right, I'm ready to get rid of all of my piercings. Tonight's the night. I can't get it out. Fuck me, I gotta go into a studio again to go get it out. And there's always something like that. And I feel like the heavier that you go into shit or whatever, the heavier your reprimand for getting out of it is. But yeah, all cartilage can heal. It's a living, beautiful, breathing tissue and stuff. And you can check out my beautiful favorite chiropractor, I think, ever, Dr. John Bergman. He works in Huntington Beach and Tijuana, and he's on the YouTube. If you look up chiropractor Dr. John Bergman, he'll tell you how to heal most anything, and anything that he doesn't tell you how to heal. Brittany Arbach of Montreal Healthy Girl is everything else you needed to know about how to heal everything overnight. But he'll always say that if you have even a little strip of cartilage, you can regrow it. And I really believe that pretty much everything can regenerate. I do believe we make our realities. You know, I say pretty much, it's like I've got an injury that should never heal, according to everybody, I guess. But I still think it can. I definitely think it can because of the things that I'm aware of for natural wellness and stuff. And so I just feel like the people that are in these body modification communities, even the surgeons that are really high up and that kind of thing, and even the people with the most money in the world, like they're going down like the rest of us, you know, and they shouldn't be, because they have access to hyperbaric oxygen chambers, and they have access to underwater treadmills, and you know, like they can literally do anything for their wellness. All the stem cells, they can do anything, you know, and they're not. And so it's like, to me, I'm like, that's a lack of information, man. Like, I just want to be like one more voice in the crowd being like, you can do this, actually. You can heal anything. Do not freak out. Like, even if you have had a fucked up surgery. I saw something the other day where a guy had committed suicide because he had a really messed up hair transplant. That was fixable. That was totally fucking fixable. There's like lasering and there's removal. Like, there's so much stuff that person could have done. I do think there's a great way to fix pretty much anything. And it helps if we don't work against ourselves and just keep adding more shit to it. Oh yes, that's what I was saying about like, we're just gonna jump around. I haven't talked to you in a while, I just missed you. So you can, instead of just looking at that hole and being like, oh, let me just like put something back in there or whatever, like you can actually pay, I forget, it's nominal, it's very low. Like you can get this little treatment where you basically nick the area and then put in like 1 or 2, 3, whatever sutures in that spot, and it'll heal up like just like a little almost invisible line would be underneath the edge of my lip. And I'm excited to do that for my lip piercing. There's for my eyebrow, you know, like navel. I've got different spots where it's like, that would be cool to stitch it up and laser it at some point or something like that. I am super excited to get my tattoos removed. Oh, and I want to say, like, as far as the experience, I feel like we glorify rough and tumble. And I was thinking this about like these really well-to-do people that I've been watching lately, where they really love that like grunge aesthetic, you know, and you see that too in where people are just like, I want to be like representing like the hood or like tough times, you know, because like you need these tough times for the plot, right? If it's a horror movie, you need a lot of tough times, and if it's a whatever movie, you just need, you know, the girl finds out that the guy lied at the beginning, but they really are in love, and it's like the one thing or something, you know. But I just want to say, maybe I already explored it for you. Maybe it's just fine. Maybe it's just over there and it's doing whatever, you know? Like maybe you don't give a shit. Maybe the internet has exposed everything already. And I love it, like on the internet now where there's like, oh, like tattoos aren't cool anymore. And then like the tattoo artists are like, no, this is just like a temporary dip that happens in the industry. It's like, I kind of think tattooing and body modifications in general have just like been exposed. I think we get what they are. I think we see on a whole new level how unhealthy they are, the regret that does come with harming yourself, sticking yourself with the same style forever, and then like constantly trying to get body modifications to further zhuzh up the ones that you already have that you've, I guess, lost interest in or something like that. You know, it's just like we could be doing self-massage. Like you could literally be spending the money that you're spending on these tattoos going to a spa. That doesn't sound fun to you? After taking such a beating in life, kind of sounds fun to me. I don't know. It's funny. I don't thrill to be in the company of people who haven't had a lot of adversity in their life. I do think that it does often cause for a richer character, but I don't think it's a necessity. And I think a lot of people have a lot more darkness in their life than they're aware of, because you see that with like marriages that fall apart after a really long time, and there's all these secrets, and there's a lot of people have plenty of darkness in their life. You're going to, like, that's life. Like there's light and dark. You don't necessarily need to be like invoking all of this darkness. Like I had a piercer that I had do several piercings, and he was saying basically, like when I was saying like I wanted a little metal spike, a little cone spike at the tip here, he was basically like, oh sure, if you want to scare people off or you want to ward people off or something like that. And I thought, like, it's a fucking silly thing to say about it or whatever. It's just my style for jewelry, and I don't mind to scare off the people that can be scared off. So like, I mean, like I'm kind of, yeah, there's an exception to the rule. I'm kind of a person that you should have your open mind about, because I really am that honest. I really do care about people. I really do give a fuck about the energies, and I do know that harming things harms me and that kind of thing. So like, I'm a safer bet, but I'm really finding a limited supply of people like me that have ravaged themselves to some degree and that kind of thing. So it's like, I don't know. Fuck it. Just go with your intuition on anybody, right? Anybody can be fucked up. So don't necessarily judge a book by its cover, but judge every book by the energy it's emitting. But yeah, now that I think about it, it's like, I'm like, again, I don't want anything in my body that could be fucking up what I'm attracting. And I don't want anything in my house that could be fucking up what I'm attracting. I'm like, oh my God, my old diaries, old photo albums of like, who the fuck is in there? That, oh my God, you know, like, and I'm just like, oh, like I've been keeping all this stuff. I'm like looking back over these letters where I'm like, I let that person talk to me like that. Oh my God. And I kept it. Like, that's how that went for me and my storage of like the me museum, and I just don't want any of it anymore. I really literally, like, you could see, like, there's not even a second lamp over here. I'm like, the second that I can get rid of anything right now, like everything that I have in here basically from my past is for show, for me selling the house, and then I'm gonna just have everything new. I just need the new energy. I'm just at that point where I'm like, you know what? I kept attracting so much of the same stuff to the point where I don't want to go hang out with people, because I'm just like, something's off. Like, I need to correct something before I go out there. I was definitely in that stage. And so I'm just like, now I'm like, spell cast everything, feng shui everything, make every kind of renovation that I'm doing so much easier, clear everything, and clear the slate as best I can. No tattoos, no piercings, even the lower ones. If it was today and I didn't have them done, I wouldn't get them done. And have you ever seen like those incredible little silver dragon earring cuff or little like golden leaf, little cuffs that you could do around your ear and stuff like that. And it's so elven, renaissance-y, just fucking like different and stuff. And it's like, if you want to be one of one, that piercing isn't that. The way that it gets fucked up over time for you, like, might be unique, but like, the placement and the fact that you did it and you know what I mean? It's like, you can't really be that unique. And at the end of the day, it really is art that artists should be putting somewhere else. You could be putting it anywhere fucking else. Go pierce a leaf. You can go fire trade some other way. And I think henna tattoos are a fantastic way. I think there are like legitimate, like, I'm not fucking with you. Like, do something else. Like, if you like jewelry and piercing and stuff like that, like, do different jewelry stuff. Like I was just saying, like, become somebody who helps decorate people for big events and stuff where you do them all out. You know what I mean? With like beautiful jewelry and stuff. Make people's lives healthier. And again, like, I really, really want to get high with you in a thunderstorm when we're camping. I want to get wild. Like, I just want to be intact to fucking do it. I mean, people are just, they're getting the infections and the rejections and the whatever, and it's just like fucking tiring at this point. Like, I think we've done it, and I think it's important for us all to like move things forward. And it's like, okay, it's so backwards to be like, let's do some tribal tattooing. Let's do stick and pokes. It's ancient, it's traditional and stuff, and it's like, but it's also outdated, and it's also unwell, and it's also with like this lack of understanding. It's like this like flat earther thing. It's like a lack of understanding how the body works, how the lymph system works, how scarring affects us and stuff. Like, it's like, this is shit, by the way, that people did used to know, but for some reason in modern times we have become so fucking disconnected from our bodies, from our spirit in a really big way. Everything is so processed, manufactured, in a rush. I personally have a severe time phobia, and my time is constantly fucking robbed, because that's what happens when we fear things. And again, like, we have to watch what we're attracting. I really have been very excited about where I'm at, but I keep hitting these little hiccups, and I'm just like, I'm ready to just have the best fucking spring ever. I've been just really, really on all my stuff lately, and I really do think that I'm going to be out of here like very, very soon, and I'm super excited about that. And again, parenthesis, asterisk, everything. I love you. You're gorgeous. Every single fucking inch of you is exactly as to be. It's okay if you cut off your fingers and split your tongue and scooped out this or that and added it over here. Like, don't fucking worry about it. Don't worry about it for a second. Just go forward with what you've learned. I was talking to somebody not that long ago, and we were saying, we both agreed we've reached a point in our spiritual journey where it's like, we kind of feel like the reprimands are harsher because we know better. And it could be anything, but it was just an interesting thought. Just, you like to play with the different sci-fi concepts and weed them out as you learn more and more and stuff too. It was just like an interesting idea to just say, like, if you already know right from wrong, like they say, ignorance is not an excuse in the eyes of the law, and energetically it's probably a little bit similar, but it doesn't quite feel like that. It kind of feels like as you get older and you've actually been through all these trials and tribulations. I know they say that like the reprimand gets harder each time that you don't learn that lesson, kind of thing, in the loosest terms. But there's something about, I guess, as you get older, it's like the ramped up version of a lot of lessons that you've already learned, so it's like you're still in that subject, like you're still in math. But this is like college level graphing numbers stuff. And when you fail, you've like failed college and you've like lost all of your fucking money for going, versus if you fail a class and you have to take summer school in high school or something like that. It just feels like the consequences, of course, as you get older mount. And I also just feel like, again, like the amount of baggage that a lot of people hold on to does as well. I didn't really know what I was going to do. So I kind of held on to things in case of what my next move was going to be, in case of the next floor plan or like whatever. And eventually I was just like, cells turnover, you end up with like all new cells. I feel like that should be a similar principle to the things that you own, where you can have the same stuff for like a really long time. But I think maybe I've come to the feeling that basically at least every 7 years, you should have completely new things in your environment by item replacement over the time period, or just a complete overhaul like I'm doing now. I think I kind of just kept everything forever Same thing, I get piercings and stuff. It's like, why the fuck am I turning 35 this year? And I've got this like piercing up here that I'm just like hitting forever with my fingers, you know, and just ignoring it because it's just part of my day and it's whatever. But yeah, and like I said, like I would like the cartilage, I would like everything to try to start healing the best that it can and be able to start encouraging it to do that. And I want to tell you too, as far as taking on shitty moments and stuff like that, a lot of people just consider it, oh, whatever, like, you know, my tattoo artist like hit on me or something, but like that's so fucking nasty. It is so nasty to have your clothes pulled up and have somebody scarring you because they're shitty at their job. Like the hands on my skeletons are hidden because they didn't know how to fucking draw. The design isn't even really fucking what I asked for at all. Do you know my enormous side piece was meant to be an extension of my little shoulder piece? That was somebody's name that also shouldn't be there. And the first tattoo that I ever got was funded unbeknownst to me by someone that I was estranged from. And then I got this one covered up because someone told me to, as an ultimatum. And I went for it for someone who wouldn't even change their number. So anyway, my back tattoo is pretty much the only one. And again, that's like how horrible the mistakes are that you can make when you start just doing shit to your body. Like stop altering it. So anyway, the back tattoo is probably the only one that I'm not like emotionally kind of like, oh, about. A female did it, which is one of the only times, maybe, is that the fucking only time? Oh my god, yeah, I've had a female like help me like put a piercing back in or something. Okay, so I've had like 2 females help me put a piercing back in. One of them was a horrible experience, I'll tell you in a second. And then, like I said, the only other thing that I had done by a female was my back piece, and it was a fantastic experience. And I still like it a lot. And so, but yeah, the last time that I was in a piercing studio, I wanted to get different jewelry for my conch. I was like, oh, I have it. Let me get something decent. So I go in there and I had a really small gauge for my conch. I wanted a really small gauge. I've had like various pieces of jewelry that fitted just fine. This woman took it upon herself to, without asking, without saying anything about it, to just shove a thicker piece of jewelry through my ear. I could hear the cartilage like scraping and grinding as she just like smashed it through. I was just like horrified. I was like, so you're telling me that I came to this shop to be like cute and get my little jewelry, because that's what we're all doing, right? We're going to these places to like look cute or more badass, like whatever, and like stuff that we could be making ourselves at home without giving our power over to a surgeon piercer, like whatever and stuff. It's like, that's what I want to say, like being a badass is having autonomy and resilience and the ability to, just like, I don't know, learn and move forward and not let people fucking hurt you as you shell out money. Like, what is that? What is that? Okay, anyway. Yeah, so I thought that was really fucking nasty, unprofessional fuck kind of behavior. On the other side of it, I just kind of thought, like, she does, like, why would she, like, also it was just kind of like, I don't know, can I have a little more, like, decent experiences with females, you know, just like a little bit. But it also just hit me as much as anything as somebody who takes full accountability for every second of my life. Can you imagine if this whole thing is like a fucking video game or something and you get on the other side or whatever and everyone's like, you kept blaming Linda, you know, like the whole time you were in the VR headset, you kept saying it was Susan's fault, but you know, now that you turned off the game and like you're processing everything that you just did or whatever, it's like, that was your choice every single step of the way or something. I don't know, whatever cute little metaphors or whatever you could think of like that and stuff. It's just like, I really believe in full accountability and stuff. And so I was just like, you know what? I went somewhere to address the fact that I had hurt myself and they hurt me without asking for permission. So of course that happened. So let's just like try to not put ourselves in situations where people think that we invite harm to our body, because you hear these people who get surgeries and they're like, I didn't tell the doctor that he could do that thing to me. And that is like, I've heard a celebrity come out recently saying that a doctor did like a surgery on her without her permission and it's permanent, and she was just like, he didn't ask me, it felt like rape, you know. And it's just like, that really is, you know, again, anything that you're allowing to like harm yourself like that, I think it might feel fun in the moment. It certainly does. It feels new and shiny, but I think there are so many ways that people just don't consider that could make them feel so new and shiny, like getting some warming stones for your massages at home. Oh, I got my balls right there that are similar. There's so many ways to just feel amazing and have like an eventful, fun, cool time bonding experience with somebody, like whatever, that again doesn't cause harm. And if you want to make a studio that does dreadlocks and everything beads and everything metal cuffs and everything cool, like leather working clothing, just if you want to do something that's actually positive for people, it's really not giving them permanent ink poisoning and something that they will probably regret at the end of things. Oh, like I said, we're jumping all over the place because I had a lot of concepts that I wanted to cover and stuff. And brains. I've referred to my brains before as being like file cabinets in a tornado, where I just kind of grab papers that are sort of flying out. And that was when I first realized in my teens that probably different brains work differently and stuff, because somebody was telling me like, oh no, like, you know, I've just got the file cabinets basically.
Oh, so the regret that I wanted to talk about is how there was that huge wave of divorces when divorce became more normalized, practical, when it became an option. I feel like we're divorcing body modifications in a really big way right now. Like, I think that's the trend that a lot of people aren't talking about. Again, we've already done it. We already see what's going on there. There's no enigmatic, there's no mystique to it anymore. It's lost its charm. It's lost its spark. We want a divorce from hurting ourselves for weird amounts of money, handing it over to people that are saying that they're our friend and our therapist and egging us on and whatever. Like, they literally aren't part of your life. They're just hurting you and calling it a day, and it was fun for them. Sometimes not, because it's a fucking job to them. You're a job. I don't know, fulfill yourself and everything else. I have a job. You just have a lot of social interaction with your clients. But I've always worked jobs where you have a lot of social interaction, public facing or very intimate, one-on-one, years and years, in-depth, know so much about them kind of interactions. And I can still say, even the ones that I like, it's a job. And if I wasn't getting paid, I wouldn't spend that time with them. No shit. So like, don't let people, like take you for a ride like that. Again, if you want to pay for a really nice, healthy, fun, cool experience that both you and the provider are having a great time during, fantastic. But you shouldn't come out worse for wear. And even if you like the design of something, if it's harmed you, you are worse for wear, my love. Break up with that bullshit. It's toxic. It's a toxic marriage to us all being like alternative body mod people. Do you know how surprised people without tattoos are when I'm like, oh yeah, I think that's cool that you don't have tattoos, that you never fucked up your flesh like that. Just the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. I love being in the jungle. That you for some reason had a headspace that said, I'm just great. And again, I think that's really fucking badass to just be like, nothing could be more metal about me. Like, I don't need to add all this metal to me. Like, I'm just like a fucking badass motherfucker. I don't need all the accessories. They're fun, but if they hurt me and they diminish my ability to conquer everything like a badass, then I don't want it there,
I think you'll always regret letting someone hurt you for any reason, especially if you've paid for it in time, money, commitment, like anything like that. I hope that we can all build each other up and teach each other new patterns of wellness and stability, and putting our money somewhere that it's going to work for us kind of thing, and not against us, and not be somewhere that we need to funnel more and more money, touching up and removing. And I got the piercing, but now I need the more jewelry, and I'm just in such a more minimal headset where I'm just like, if that takes 10 extra steps or whatever, then I'm like, that's not even a good solution. Like, just as a life principle, I'm like, why do I want something that's like an ongoing fucking problem, Like, I actually just like to have, everything as simple and straightforward as possible, so that way I can go like fucking like roll down the hills and write poetry and shit, I just want to be able to do like the really lovely stuff in life. And I don't know, like, I'm glad that I explored everything as deep and dark as I have, and it's not that I'm over it or anything. It's just that like pop music and comedy and just things like that, in between watching barbaric surgeries and people with their faces split open for art or whatever you want to call it, it's definitely and self-expression, promises of what could be from surgeons and artists alike. Sorry, they are artists. It's just like, it's fucked up. What are you doing? Both of these categories of people, they're gonna sell you a dream. They're going to tell you that they can do something with your body that more often than not, they really fucking cannot. Or there's going to be something down the line that even if they can, that you would change. It's better to not be thrilled about the thing that you were given versus going out and getting something for yourself that you don't like. It just feels worse when you do it to yourself, right? So anything you can improve upon, definitely do it. If you do have unhealthy tissue, then by all means, get every treatment that is holistic and natural to resolve it. Or if it is more extreme, then get the best surgeon. There's a time and place for everything, just maybe not tattoos and piercings and tongue splitting and everything else that is so much fucking damage to your healthy tissue. Again, it's not just about whether or not you feel like you have extra skin or cartilage that you just don't care to have or whatever. It is what you are inviting in. It is the vibration that you're putting out. It is how well your vessel is. You know what I mean? How well is like your vehicle running, and adding all of these bits and bobs, you don't know how they're gonna age. You don't know what you don't fucking know, So yeah. I love you so much, and I hope you take really good care of yourself. I could probably keep going forever. Did I cover all the points? Did I talk forever? At least one of those is a yes. I'm gonna get back on to all of the house project stuff. I'm really just in such a wrap up, pack up, everything cleansed and cleared, everything just onto the new stage. And I've heard that's been like a big energetic shift lately. It's like, if you've been feeling that, make sure that you do it, because it's just, we're getting ready to go into like a whole new scene. So make sure that you are ready for it for yourself. And I like seeing all the different reasons that people have for it. I'll see a celebrity be like, oh, like I'm turning 40, and that's why I was like clearing out all of my ex's old stuff and giving it back to him that I'd had for way too long that he just didn't care to ever get. Or me with like clearing all of my stuff, going, well, I'm moving soon and I'm sick of looking at it and I'm sick of the vibes it's bringing me. Oh, I want to say like about my things, there was a very long time that I thought they were going to turn into something else, that they were no longer going to have that memory attached to them, that association, anything or whatever. But I just started calling everything cursed treasure. And so I'm just like, it's all cursed treasure. If it wasn't purchased recently, honest, good monies and good situation and just everything else. And so I do think like how you get things is very important. So when you're getting tattoos and piercings in the best of times or the worst of times, the way that you're getting it is truly without respect for the composition of your body, without an understanding of like the ley lines, the essence of the function. I just, I wish that I hadn't mangled different things for myself one way or another in different, life genres. But I also like learned so much, as anybody will say. And at least now too, I can be one more person telling you, hey, if you're planning on getting that body modification, I'm not going to tell you to think about it. I'm just going to say, shit, fuck. Maybe don't. And if you do these things, maybe stop. It's just, it's a ridiculous industry. But the thing is, like, when everyone's like, oh, but I don't want to come for their jobs, but like, I just like hate my tattoos and everything that like it's done in my life or whatever, and it's just like, but I don't want to come for the tattoo artists and stuff. And it's like, no one's fucking coming for anybody, but I'm just like, can you get out of that industry? If there weren't prison wardens and stuff, it's just like, who's gonna run these giant, horrible cement blocks that ruin lives that are already fucked? If there wasn't anybody in that job, if no one was gonna make pharmaceuticals, we wouldn't have pharmaceuticals. It's just like, I'm coming for everybody's job. Get the fuck out of there. Let's go for a hike, okay? So be good to yourself. And check out Luke Chan. That is a fucking awesome channel too. It makes me so happy. That's the kind of channel that it's the kind of channel you need to watch after listening to me rant about shit. So I love you so much, and take care of yourself. Because God knows I'm kind of trying to. I'll talk to you soon.
Natural oils in conjunction with essential oils like tea tree or something like castor is always great options for getting rid of scarring. Make sure you're doing your massages. Eat clean. Be in nature, not on a busy street only. Check out the professionals that'll tell you how you can heal anything. I'd tell you how to do everything, but I don't have the credentials, and I have other areas of expertise included. We're in the future when it comes to natural alternatives, and we should definitely be taking advantage of those. It's more fun than exploring ways to damage ourselves by far. But be assured, credentials are not, I really do know how to fix anything. A little sci-fi future tech, a little ancient wisdom, and we're right on our way. Take care of yourself. It matters. Get in touch with nature and build your body. The more you take care of your body, the more that you won't even remotely want to undo your progress by harming yourself.
There are lots of injuries to ourselves that we're probably not going to expect. There are lots of permanent things that are going to happen to our bodies over time. We could end up spending a really long time trying to correct them. One of those things doesn't need to be tattoos. I just don't think you should have this lifelong permanent thing that your body is digesting. All the things that we know that we keep in our makeup, Europe has banned. The things that we keep in our tattoo ink, that Europe has banned. There's a certain level of toxicity that we're just fucking paying for. And when you hear the one-off stories about tattoo, laser removal, reactions, allergies, that you're like, oh, that's not gonna happen to me. Where you see people not knowing what they're doing and like,
Hi.
oxidizing certain colors in people's skin, or they're causing big blisters and scarring and stuff like that. So there's so much unexpected that can come from this intentional harm to your body. I just really want to talk about how we get sold on as a freaking consumer. Like, where are your punk vibes there, right? To be like, here's the money, make me look cool, you know, make me look very intentional, which is what, like, the opposite. Like, we always want like that unintentional beauty. I'm always promoting that. I think it sucks that we pay so much money to look like we're trying pretty freaking hard to be the ideal this or that, and it's like, well, that can't possibly be your ideal you, because it looks exactly like somebody else's idea. There wasn't all the information out there about it, you know? It's like now, like, we know about cigarettes, we know about fast food, we know what's into fucking tattooing, dude. I never even thought at 18, like so many people, when I'm getting my first tattoo, the day that I turned 18, what is being put in my skin? I literally was just like, yeah, it goes in there. Commonly accepted that you can do this, so I want to. That'll be fun, that'll be, you know, whatever. I don't mind the pain. If anything, it's fun to me as well. For me, now that I'm not only thinking about it, but I'm so aware that, like, okay, so when you laser, it's not, you know, laser beaming it into outer space. Like, it has to go through your, like, lymph system, and it has to be digested by your body, and you're putting all these particles that were contained like a fucking tumor, you know, and you're just blasting it open and letting, you know, like a tumor, if you cut into it, you can have a lot of issues with that for how it's growing at that point. You want your tumor contained. You don't want to start cutting, preferably. But similar to a tattoo, it's like at this point, like, I'm kind of like, ooh, if only there was a proper topical thing. Believe me, I keep looking into all of the natural ways to get off tattoos and stuff, and I've faded mine a good amount, probably with oil and sunlight and just harassment. But there's just not anything that I've found yet for naturally how to get it off in like a topical sort of way. You kind of have to run it through your system, because you can alter your allergies, sensitivities, and stuff like that by healing your gut. I highly recommend, if you've had a reaction to your tattoo laser removal, that you work really hard on healing your gut and reducing the amount of unnatural stuff, whether it's prescriptions or hairspray, makeup, or like whatever. If you reduce that, you could probably revisit your tattoo removal easily. I can't tell you, like, overnight, you could probably get all of that calmed down in the span of like 3 to 4 months, probably, I would say. Because I've taken stuff from really bad off to like 4 months later, able to walk into any room, deal with any chemicals, whatever. I super recommend that you get your acupuncture, do your chiropractic care, like whatever it is to get yourself taken care of. If you're worried at all about having an allergic reaction going into laser removal, especially because they'll talk about like the red dyes and stuff like that, and how that can be really harsh for your system. I forgot why was that? It made me think of how so many people have like a red food dye allergy or whatever. Anyway, like if you're concerned about having it, or I've heard like if you get removal, it might be fine at one point, but then years later it had this like big flare up when you did it again or something. And like I said, if you improve your immune system between those periods, like I don't think you would have to expect something like that. But if you're like,
all my other diseases, like all my other skin conditions have not improved since I got this tattoo. You might want to improve that, you know, prior to doing your laser and stuff like that. You can tell if you might be prone to that. But I mean, why not boost your immune system before you do something like that anyway, just knowing what it's going to be. It's just, everything's boost your immune system every day, right? And I just want to say, you know, I mean, I could get fucking wasted tonight and I could do, you know, a million healthy things tomorrow that would just about wipe the slate clean, depending. Certain things that you do will always leave you a bit weirder. But but the truth is, like, I could detox for the rest of my life, and without a laser or a scar, as things are right now, I will have this tattoo. I don't think it's right for artists in their studios to not have some kind of information up there. I know, and they don't know this, so I got you. I love you, artists. Love you. Okay, and I love that you're a barbaric artist like this. Okay, I'm into it. It's just back in the day, people were using like mud and charcoal for their dye. Like, what are you using? You know what I mean? And have you ever thought about this? Have you ever had any complaints from your clients about this kind of thing, having reactions to things or not being prepared? You could look into higher quality inks, and you have a notebook out there that's like, you know, just a little black book that if you open the cover, it just has a few pages on. Here are the inks that will not be able to be lasered away very well, in case you want that information. Here's what we say about, you know, having the best healing time, drinking fluids, getting everything that you need. Just having like a little something that just says, hey, it's not all about fucking pistol whipping, curb stomping, drinking contests. You can take care of yourself while being aggressive and playful and artistic with different things. I understand that not everybody calls it a fun night out to go rock climbing or something like that. And I want to say, as far as actual personal tattoo regret, I've been watching, you know, a lot of these videos and stuff. I've been super excited to talk about it. You know, I kept thinking always like, oh, I'll, you know, throw in like my, you know, tattoo tour, reasons I got it, reasons I don't want it. And I was just thinking, fucking kind of weird regrets regarding mine. But I'm sure a lot of people do, because you get tattoos in odd ways, right? And so, you know, if you live and breathe that community, if you really love looking at it, to me, I think a lot of times we like other people's tattoos, and you might even get inspired to get your own by looking at theirs, but it's like you like theirs because it's not on you forever and because you're not metabolizing it forever. You don't have to try to get back to your natural roots or like match different styles. You're being the healthiest version of yourself. It's hard to think, for me, of all the incredible wild souls that were out there having a good ass time and getting these tattoos. Again, I'm you, okay? And if you go get a tattoo tomorrow, I fucking get it. Just want fucking information out there. So I just want everybody really informed. I just want to hear some real insights from people about their mental state when they got tattoos, how they felt while having them, because that's really important to discuss. That every implant, tattoo, piercing, these are disruptors. They're disruptors, and you are sending signals to your body with every single cell, every single fucking atom, all day, every day. It's your vibration, you know?
It's baby's first snow.
People for fucking anything that they look like. I get how you got there. I just don't dig that it's hurting us. And I feel like that's pretty fucking reasonable. I just feel like the day that you have a fucking migraine and you're like, I'm covered in ink, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels shitty. Anything that you can do, there's gonna be natural disruptors. Just know thyself, like I said, what mental state you've got it in, and just how you are as a person. For me, I have a lot of fixed water in my chart astrologically, and so I'm like, this is my emotion, I have tons of it, and it's forever. It's just that there isn't an option to get rid of them, and it is healthier. So yeah, I'm into it. I would like to do that, and like I said, I'm not vilifying people that are aware that they're damaging healthy tissue. But I love the body paint. I love the leather armbands. I wish we could all have Renaissance fashion and just all be draping in every cool fabric, and, you know, love any kind of thing, playing with hair, anything. You should have seen the fucking, this thing does ringlets when I'm out of the shower after taking dreadlocks out. I get like these perfect ringlets, but it's got oil in it now, as always. I'm gonna let my kitten outside. I feel like there's so many other things I could say. Let me think, is there anything else I want to say really quick? I don't know. I feel like tattoo regret is regret that you allowed someone to harm you and you were sold that that was a cool and beautiful thing to do. If there's anything that you're doing Implants, pharmaceuticals, anything that is meant to make you look different, it's not fucking worth it. It's not worth your life. And as soon as that spell's broken, as soon as that addiction is broken to that mentality, you're gonna go, oh fuck, like everything wasted. As soon as you stop watching as much TV and you go, okay, those stories are fantastic and I love that, but I need to be outside more than I'm looking at a screen of any kind.
Leaving the new Thor movie from a small town cinema. It's run by volunteers. It's the smallest one I've been in that's not an apartment complex. And I just wanted to show you what that looks like. We're having a great night and going for a walk afterwards.
As soon as you start to get into these healthier mindsets, you always look back and go like, oh my god, like I've had a homemade organic burger, like all that fast food, oh, like my soul is throwing up now just thinking about like, all the times that I hurt myself and paid money for it. Any of these permanent life physiology altering methods, it's not right. All the implants for technology even, I fucking will flip if this cat is ever out of my line of sight, but I can't put a rice grain size implant in him. I can't put anything unnatural in him. I don't feel that that's right. So just watch how you're physically impacting other people. I always try to help. I always try to leave people cleaner than I found them. Try to be a good contribution to them. When people talk about how single use a lot of things in the tattoo industry are and stuff, it's just like, as an animal, do we need all of these factories? As an animal, do we need all the silicone implants made and stuff like that? You know, you can say like, oh, well, reconstruction, you should have that implant. So fuck reconstruct. Like, your body is your body. You don't need anything fake in there, okay? If you make a move that gets rid of something, you don't need to cover up that scar or that stretch mark with tattoos. You can heal that scar. We have incredible scar remediation things these days, all the red light. We can do, I wish there was so much more that I said in that scarification video, but it's like, I just sit down and blather, right? But it's like, there's so much you can do to heal scars with modern technology. And again, I love modern tech. It's like, make it for a good reason that we use all this resource and manpower and that everyone's working these, you know, grueling jobs and stuff. It's like, everything can be easier, natural, more healthy. We don't need so much of the commerce and so much of the stuff that we have these days. We love our fashion. We need clothes. We don't have our fur. And so, you know, we need certain things. And it's like, let's have all the fun in the world with that. Let's leave our actual body alone. And this, so again, let's go for cotton if we can, right? I like fluffy, go fuck 'em videos. I have a lot of opinions that maybe not everybody shares, but they're all completely scientifically backed. And I just want more people to say the things that I'm saying, because I love when I hear people say cancer is already cured. Parkinson's is already cured. And then I want to be the voice that comes out and says, okay, so let's move that along to these foundations that are saying like, let's find the cure. It's like, where is all of that money going to? How many animals are getting tested on? How many chemicals are we flushing down the sink or whatever, figuring out the cure? And it's like, okay, well, you're like making life more toxic. We already have the cure. It's called fucking lycopene. It's called tomatoes, if you will. There's so many ways to feel fucking amazing. There are lots that don't leave you worse for wear. And yeah, you could say there's like a pain intoxication, and again, like the addiction factor, euphoria, whatever. But like, it's not getting you drunk and it's not getting you high. So why are you hurting yourself like that? It's not making you actually trip. What are we actually doing here? It makes you a little happy to look at that little picture all the time. Well, again, there's like fake tattoos these days. There's stuff you can paint on. You can put a picture on your wall, in your wallet. It's gotten goofy. There's every video in the world about how deep the needles go, how the needles work. There's everybody critiquing everyone's styles, and there's the reality shows, and like there's everything about it. We've done it, it's done. Let's look at how short of a period of time that all of these weird implants and pharmaceuticals and tattoos and just various, you know, shaving different eyebrows shapes and getting rid of them and stuff like that. It's just like all of this is so freaking modern. And for somebody like me who is so down for our human roots, it just feels cheap and tacky. And I'm gonna do lots of cheap and tacky things in my life, but I like to have my foundation as healthy and normal as possible these days, because I don't know, I can really take things to a place quickly and get a high tolerance for anything quickly. So for me, it's like I don't have tattoos, don't have piercings, and I keep a really natural regimen for my diet and my skincare and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, maybe I can afford to dabble in a little heartbreak. Maybe I can afford to get a few extra scratches over here and bruises over there. Hey, it's your health bank account. I don't know. It's whatever the fuck. It's we all only have so much of whatever it is. I do think you can build more, and I think that you should really take all of these things into consideration, and also just the fascination of it. It's a more morbid enjoyment that I take in tattoos now than it used to be. Before I was like, oh, so freeing. So just super jazzed on them and stuff. And now I'm just like, ain't that sick? Like, ugh, it's a rough one. I've been there. Hey, I got skin trauma too. I hear ya. Like I feel more like that than being like, ooh, this is so cool. I wish I had that. Oh my God, maybe I should get this design. All of that is gone for me now. I'm just like, oh. And I noticed that even before I had like fully come to these conclusions where I'm just like, I just don't like the tattoos even happen and fucking anymore. I think there's a reason that was kind of like a niche tribal thing for so long, I don't love any of that anymore. And I found one of the most obvious signs of it was each time that somebody was telling me, I found even for maybe a couple of years now, several years, it's like every time somebody tells me that they got a new tattoo or shows me some kind of work, I think, oh, like the feeling was so fucking different. And I think I always kind of had that a little bit about when other people would get tattoos. I was never like, tattoos are my thing or whatever. Like, what are you doing? Some people are so fucking weird about aesthetic shit. I don't know. I just kind of thought like, again, I couldn't quite put it to words, but the feeling was very much, it's okay for me to hurt me. I know what I'm doing. And what the fuck are you doing? Ooh, that does not seem like a good sign. What's happening here? I kind of always had that. And so again, if you're covered in tattoos, fuck yeah, you're hot. Fuck yeah, you're cool. Like, fuck yeah, you're an artist and you're amazing. All of those things. But also everything else I've said. I'm part of your tribe. I'm down for it. Like you said, I get it. I get it beyond getting it. There's nothing that shocks me like fucking ever anymore in life. It's part of this weird, it's like I love everything, but it's like I just kind of started caring about things in a very different way a few years ago. And it's just like, I don't know that anything really ever was, I don't know, like it's more like nothing was that shocking to me. And I'd been through a lot, but now that I've been through even more, I'm just like, well, now actually nothing is shocking. You could tell me pretty much anything at this point, and I would be like, I've seen it in a movie, I've seen it in a dream, I've heard about a concept that would lend itself to it. I'm not shocked by anything, I'm not super surprised by anything. Tattoos, I think, have just kind of lost their razzle dazzle to me in a really big fucking way. I want to see your skin, I want to see your freckles and your scars, and I want to see what you've been through more than what you put yourself through. Not that we don't put ourselves through what we've been through stuff, but anyway, check out your astrology. Hell, check out fucking the alignments when you want to get a tattoo. Just be like, is it a full moon? Is it what's Mars doing?
Organic always tastes so much better than conventional grown produce because it's allowed to allocate its nutrients at a natural rate, and it's just in general so much more vibrant. Keep in mind to use filtered water for rinsing your produce. That way you don't get like the fluoride, chlorine, pharmaceuticals, what have you, that might be in your local tap water.
So that way you're aware, because it's like whenever you actually, when you're like, oh, like I want to eat all this like trash stuff or whatever, and then you go like, oh wait, but that's actually just this thing and this thing and this thing. Why don't I go get this organic stuff that's gonna totally pacify all of that? The more aware you are, the just informed fucking choices, informed lives, informed deaths, informed everything that we do to ourselves in between. And I love the shit out of you. There you go. Here's my easy breezy, no linear thoughts whatsoever video. Getting out. Fucking love you. Take care.